everyone, welcome to Behind the Beats, the podcast where we dive deeper into two songs from different decades that share similar themes. Instead of focusing solely on one artist, album, or genre, this podcast directly compares two songs from different decades side by side to show how music changes over time while still exploring the same themes.
Behind the Beats dives deeper into the artistic and cultural connections between different eras. We will have guest experts each episode offering new perspectives, helping listeners see how much music shapes and reflects society over time.
Hey guys, my name's Maddie, and I'm going to be your host for today's episode. I'm from Asheboro, North Carolina, and I am obsessed with anything music. I have grown up around live music from my family playing in bands and going to multiple concerts every single year. To me, nothing beats the feeling of hearing your favorite songs live and feeling the beat instead of just hearing it. I have a very wide taste of music, indie, rock, K-pop, you name it, I listen to it. My favorite artists, though, are The Neighborhood, Billie Eilish, and aespa.
Hi guys, I'm Danielle. I'm a Jersey girl who loves to listen to music. I feel like music brings out all different kinds of emotions, whether that's sad, happy, or even nostalgia. I love listening to music when doing anything, like walking to class, going on drives, or just playing in the background. My favorite types of genres are pop and country, but my favorite artists are Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder, and Chris Stapleton. Now let's get into it.
So today we're examining two tracks that capture a sense of yearning and escapism despite being released over 50 years apart. The Mamas and the Papas' California Dreamin' from 1965 and Glass Animals' Heat Waves from 2020. Let's start with the musical foundations of each track. California Dreamin' opens with that instantly recognizable acoustic guitar pattern that immediately transports you to another place. The song builds with layered vocal harmonies, creating this rich, textured sound that becomes the signature of the Mamas and the Papas.
Those harmonies combined with the flute solo create such a dreamy atmosphere that perfectly evokes the song's central theme of longing for warmth and escape.
Similarly, Heat Waves creates its own distinctive atmosphere, but through entirely different means. Glass Animals' production employs a hazy, kind of psychedelic soundscape with a laid-back rhythm that captures the sensation of sweltering summer heat.
What's really cool is how both songs use their respective production techniques to create immersive environments. California Dreamin' relies on organic instrumentals and vocal arrangements, while Heat Waves uses modern electronic production to achieve its atmospheric quality. Yet both succeeded in establishing a powerful sense of place and emotion.
When we examine the thematic content, both songs explore longing and escapism, but through different perspectives. California Dreamin' captures the feeling of being stuck in a cold, gray environment and yearning for that warmth and promise of California. It's a perfect picture of the California vibe as a place of sunshine and new beginnings.
The first line that sticks out to me is, "All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray." These opening lines from California Dreamin' set the somber mood. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray paint this super dull, depressing scene, which feels like a metaphor for how the singer is feeling. It's like they're stuck somewhere cold, wishing they were somewhere warm and free, just like California. It's all about feeling of wanting to escape to something better.
Another line that sticks out to me is California Dreamin' on such a winter's day. This is such a big lyric because not only is it the title of the song, but it also has such a strong contrast in it. Cali usually representing that warm sunshine versus the cold winter. This allows it to amplify that sense of yearning.
For the last quote that sticks out to me is, "I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA." These two lines capture the romanticized vision of California as an escape from harsh weather and difficult circumstances.
Heat Waves, on the other hand, focuses on emotional rather than physical escapism. The song explores themes of memory, loss, and the difficulty of processing emotions. Where California Dreamin' looks outward towards a physical destination, Heat Waves looks inward at the emotional landscapes. One line that sticks out to me from this song is, "Sometimes all I think about is you, late nights in the middle of June." This lyric is the chorus, and it expresses obsessive thoughts about someone who's no longer present. It does so well, revealing this almost consuming obsession that will take over your mind. I like how he uses the word sometimes to create that contradiction with him saying, "all I think about."
Another line that stands out to me is, "Heat wave's been faking me out, can't make you happier now." This line is all about nostalgia and regret. Heat waves have been faking me out is like when something reminds you of the past and tricks you into thinking things are still the same, even though they're not. And can't make you happier now is that realization that no matter what you do, you can't fix things or make someone happy if it's not working anymore. It's that bittersweet feeling of holding on to something that's already gone.
This next one is my personal favorite quote from the whole song. I just wonder what you're dreaming of when you sleep and smile so comfortable. I just wish I could give you that look that's perfectly unsad. It creates such a relatable feeling of jealousy and yearning in a relationship. The way the beat in the music slows down at this part also just shows that feeling so much better. I feel like him watching someone sleeping but still being jealous shows this sense of isolation even in proximity. And I like how he uses perfectly unsad because it doesn't really aim for joy, but it's not really just sad.
What's remarkable is both songs achieve cultural impact by capturing a specific emotional experience that felt universal. California Dreamin' spoke to the yearning and search for meaning that characterized the 1960s, while Heat Waves showed complicated feelings of loss and memory that many experienced during recent challenging times. Since the song was made during the pandemic, it brings out raw emotions that I'm sure many people were feeling. So we've been talking about California Dreamin' and Heat Waves and how both songs tap into those powerful feelings of longing and escapism. Now I'm excited to introduce our guest, Matt Jenkins. To start off, Matt, can you quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm currently a professor of strategic communication here at High Point University, but I haven't always been in academia. I have a pretty diverse background in terms of things that I've done, and music is one of my passions. I have been a drummer, a percussionist for the better part of 45 or 48 years. I've played drums since I was a little kid, and I come from a family of drummers. My dad was a drummer. I have two cousins that were drummers on my dad's side, and then a third cousin, Hale, who was a session drummer, a studio drummer at Cook Sound Studios in South Carolina. And so we just have sort of had the beats in us for a while. And I've played in bands since I was in high school, and through college I played in bands, a bunch of different genres from blues to jazz to punk rock when we first started. Classic rock, I was in a big hair band when I was younger, so I had hair down to my shoulders and my armpits at one point. Even pulled it back into a ponytail. Now I'm playing, I play a little bit of everything. I'm kind of an in-demand drummer. I've got guitar players and singers that call me. And I guess some of the people that maybe some people would have heard of that I've played with, Leon Russell and Tab Benoit and Jimmy Thackeray, Shamika Copeland. There's kind of in the blues or the funk blues genre. So I've played with some of those folks. But Leon Russell was Joe Cocker's keyboard player. And Dr. John, got to share the stage with him on occasion. So,
Wow.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into some questions about these two powerful tracks. California Dreamin' has become deeply embedded in popular culture through films, TV shows, and commercials. Do you see Heat Waves achieving that same level of cultural permanence?
that's an interesting question. I saw a lot of similarities between both tunes and the lyrics and things, and that sort of that reflective quality of just experiencing life, experiencing what's going on. I don't know if Heat Waves will reach the status of California Dreamin'. I mean, I think it's California Dreamin' has been around for so long, and there are so many bands that have played it. In fact, I play with a surf rock band that plays an instrumental version of it right now. So it's interesting that song has been around because it's sort of that anthem. It's a summertime anthem, and I see those qualities in the song Heat Waves, but I'm not sure if it will reach the status that California Dreaming did.
I agree because I know California Dreamin' more than Heat Waves, and that's more our generation. So I do agree with that because when I was listening to it before, I knew it better than Heat Waves. So I agree.
Yeah, and I think your generation has grown up with your parents playing songs. I know my
Right.
generation. I grew up listening to the Beatles. I think my dad had every Beatles album out there, and so you've not only heard that song through your childhood, but it stuck with you because, like you said, Madison, you've got the television commercials and you've heard it in movies and other things. So it's just, it resonates more and it's more familiar.
Yeah.
There's so much music that's being produced these days that I don't know if heat waves can achieve that.
I agree. What makes these particular songs resonate across generations despite their different musical styles?
I think there's a formula. I think it's just sort of this happy feeling that you get when you listen to it. There's a connection that people can have to the music that we can all share. We experience the same. We'll use California Dreamin'. When you get in the car and you drive, whether you're going to the beach here on the East Coast or on the West Coast, or maybe you're just driving to the lake in the Northeast, there's this feeling that you like, hey, this is summer. This just feels like summer. And I think that those qualities are shared. They're the same. And the lyrical style, I think that the way that you sort of reflect lyrically makes sense with those two. There's a simpatico relationship with that.
Definitely. Yeah. I think Heat Waves is fun too, as well as California Dreamin', but I feel like Heat Waves, like, even though it's kind of sad, it still kind of gets you moving.
Well, yeah, there's this, how I want to say this. With the Mamas and the Papas, there's a lot more melody making in terms of the song. You've got multiple harmonies, whereas I think with Heat Waves, it's not as much of that harmonies that's going on between vocals. You have a lot going on, and it feels more of a hip hop style in a lot of ways. So that is a little more contemporary. It's the structure of the way the song is presented. I think it fits, and they're both in that, I would say, in that anthem, sort of that summertime anthem genre.
For sure. I think Heat Waves trends every year in June, specifically with that lyric, like in the middle of June. Mm-hmm. I think I see it every single year. Like when it's June time, that song will come up on my social media platforms.
Yeah.
And I know I got to see Glass Animals in concert, and I got to see this song live. It's something about that like techno beat they use that even with the more down lyrics, you still kind of want to like jump around and like, you know, just like dance to the music.
Well, and I think your generation will be that generation that if it does have that longevity, it will have those sort of those melancholy feelings that our generation has with California Dreamin'. I think you all will experience that as you become older and become parents and families and things. You will have those similar kinds of memories that will continue to propel it.
It's like it's nostalgic.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly how. Like, even though it's a newer song, it's still nostalgic, and that's also what they're pretty much conveying in the song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it will gain its historic element the longer you all listen and the longer you are out there.
Yeah. So the next one is, how does the vocal delivery in each song contribute to its emotional impact?
Vocal delivery. I think Heat Waves, for me, when I listen to it again, it's coming from more of a singular perspective, like it's one person reflecting. And I think when I listen to California Dreamin', it feels like your besties. It feels like you're in a car with your besties driving down the road, and there's 5 or 6 people in this old ragtop hoopty going down the highway singing the song. Whereas with Heat Waves, it feels like maybe it's more singular. Like you can be in your car by yourself and still feel like it's your experience.
Yeah.
That's not something like when you're with a group of friends, you wouldn't be thinking about the lyrics in Heat Waves. You'd be thinking about the lyrics in like California Dreamin'.
Yeah.
But when you're by yourself, Heat Waves is like something that maybe those lyrics would cross your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think social media, particularly TikTok, has changed how songs like Heat Waves achieve cultural significance compared to California Dreamin'?
California Dreamin', the radio. I mean, at the time, radio was the medium of choice. And that was a generational thing. We had it on in our house. We had it on in our cars. So radio at the time was the prompting channel that we listened to, whereas TikTok is generationally the platform. So I don't see there's a lot of difference. in terms of its ability to propel a song, I think there's a lot of similarities actually between TikTok and radio because it's still a mobile device. It's still mobile in terms of the platform. Where we got in our cars and turned the dial on a radio, most people will get into their car today and Spotify or some other music channel will pop on and play through the car. So it's still the same experience of getting into a vehicle, if that's what we're talking about. Or maybe you're walking around, like you have your phone with your earbuds in. We had our little Walkman or our tape or cassette thing and our headphones back in the 80s walking around. So whether you're walking on a bike, in a car, you still have access to mobile music. And I think mobile music is a common thread here, that ability to take it with you wherever you go. And it inspires you. You pedal faster, you walk faster, you drive faster. But I don't see a lot of difference between the effect that radio and TikTok have. I think they're both very similar platforms in propelling the songs to where they are.
It's just how our society just grew.
Exactly. It's the technology of the day. I mean, if you want me to get professorial here, like media literacy. Media literacy is this process of understanding and utilizing the prominent technologies of the day. And my generation remembers the rotary phone. You guys don't. You've always had the cell phone in your hand. But radio just was the top thing back then. You had people like Casey Kasem in the top 40, whereas here you have your Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like our top hits for the week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many similarities because it's a human thing. We've created both radio and we've created TikTok in a way that humanity uses it most efficiently. And so I see that human nature, we use TikTok and the radio almost identically.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing with TikTok is, or just even like listening to music on Spotify or on our phones, is that it's more personalized. But other than that, I feel like it's just how our different generations and how our society just grew.
Yeah, no, that's a great point that you make, the personalization aspect of it. In a lot of ways, you all have weeded out some of the commercials
Yeah.
and the ability to listen to just the stuff you want to listen to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would have to buy a whole album
Yeah.
to get the Mamas and the Papas, and maybe California Dreamin' was a great song, and there were 12 other songs that really nobody wanted to listen to. Here, you guys can just pick out what songs you want to listen to.
Yeah, and I think it also, like, TikTok's giving a big platform to smaller artists to be seen. I feel like that definitely wasn't something with just radio. And I mean, it still isn't anything with just radio. You're just going to hear the top hits of right now. But, like, with TikTok, it's so much music and such different type of music, just everywhere.
Yeah, TikTok opens up the platform for a variety of artists to find themselves, whereas back in the day, you had to be discovered.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there had to be an agent come along and find the Mamas and the Papas. Like, hey, they're singing at this festival in a field. We need to sign them. Where now you have to be a TikTok star or at least a social media star with your music before a brand or a label will even talk to you. So you have to do all the legwork that used to be that the record labels would do.
Yeah. Like the talent had to find you, but you can also just be your own manager.
Exactly.
And hope that you could
build a following.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a label these days.
No, you could blow up. Like Noah Khan, I feel like he blew up on TikTok, and now he's huge with all these records and albums that everyone loves. And he just posted his own TikTok, and he wasn't signed by anyone.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, it sort of. I don't know if it pains me to say this, but it kind of pains me to say this as a drummer. I have to give Justin Bieber his props because as a drummer, he's a phenomenal drummer. I don't particularly like Justin Bieber, but he's a phenomenal drummer, and he found his niche on social media, and that's how he was discovered.
Yeah, so that's just how our world is.
Yeah,
but it's pretty impressive.
It's impressive that humanity has gotten to this point where we can weed out the things that are relevant and not relevant.
Yeah. I agree.
And music is so integral to who we are as people because it inspires us in so many phases of our lives, whether we're happy, whether we're sad, that the ability to kind of tailor that music that we need at the time to pick us up or bring us down is there at our fingertips.
Yeah. It's like music, you can just listen to it and it makes you feel like heard, even though those artists aren't like directly singing to you. It feels like it sometimes.
Yeah, I guess the only difference that I would say is the live music aspect of it. Coming from a live music background myself, there's an endorphin that we get that is awesome.
Live music is awesome. I'm like a concert junkie. I have like 3 concerts planned for this summer. I always have a concert planned to go to.
As you should.
Live music's my favorite.
It's so good.
It really is. It's so much better than just listening to it in the car, even though I do love that.
Yeah, even if it's a band I don't listen to, I still try to get tickets to go. Because just hearing them live, like, then you become a fan.
That's right. That's how you find new bands. That's how you find, even though Spotify wants to tell you what it thinks you want to listen to.
Yeah. Alrighty. Matt, thank you so much for bringing your perspective as an active musician to our discussion of these memorable songs. Before we let you go, where can our listeners find you and your music?
Oh my gosh, my music, man. There's a band I played with, the Lockdown, for years. We still have some pages out there on Spotify and a couple of other places with some music. Gosh, find me at a local club in North Carolina. That's probably the best way to really find me and see me. I'll be the large guy behind the drum kit, and I play all across the state, Asheville and Charlotte. Got some gigs coming up in Charlotte. I want to try and get a gig here in High Point. For some reason, been here for 3 years and I can't get a gig in High Point. But Raleigh, Durham is where we started, and so you find me at a local club in North Carolina. Awesome.
A huge thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in to our 4th podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube at Behind the Beats Pod for updates and behind-the-scenes content. You can find the links in our bio.
Tune in to the next episode to hear more from Olivia and Nicole again.
Thank you.